Welcome back to NRM 638, Python Scripting for ArcGIS Application, Spring Semester 2015. This is an e-learning class at the University of Alaska Fairbanks. In this session, we're going to use the ArcGIS geoprocessing tool, Create Random Points, which is in the Management Toolbox. So what you should do is go to the Blackboard website and download this text file, randompoints.txt, and we'll be copying and pasting from that text file into the ArcPy window in ArcMap. Okay, the first thing we'll do is we'll create a personal geodatabase, and I just call it test.mdb, and I put it in ctemp. And then we'll set our ArcPy workspace to that location. And then we'll use the Create Fishnet geoprocessing tool to create 100 squares in that personal geodatabase. So the name of our new feature class in the geodatabase will be called squares. And each square will be a width of 10, a height of 10, and there'll be polygons. And we can use the Create Random Points geoprocessing tool. We'll put our random points, one random point inside each of the 100 square polygons. And then we'll look at that in ArcMap. So here's the output. We've got our random points, and there is indeed one inside each square polygon, and they're randomly located. Okay, if we skip this constraining feature class and we just put a blank string in there, what we'll get is 10 points randomly distributed throughout the extent of our squares. And that will be called random points 2 in this example. And then we'll look at it in ArcMap. So here are the 10 random points distributed throughout the extent of this polygon feature class. You can also use polygon attribute field to control the number of points. So here we'll add a field called square field as a short integer, and then we calculate that to be equal to the object ID. So then we'll look at our attribute table. So now we have this field called square field, and it has values ranging from a minimum of 1 to a maximum of 100. So we're going to use this field called square field to control the number of random points located inside each polygon. So basically we use the Create Random Points tool, and we specify inside each square, that's a constraining feature class, use the square field, that's the number of points or field parameter. So then we should have, for each polygon, depending upon what the square field value is, a random point. And then we can look at it in ArcMap. So for example, this polygon has a square field of 1, and it's got 1 point randomly located in it. And then if we sort descending, this polygon has a square field of 100, so there's 100 points randomly located within that square. Okay, we could use the same tool to create random points on lines. So we'll convert our polygons to lines, and we'll look at those lines in ArcMap. So for example, here's the first line, and then if I go to the last line, here's the last line in this line feature class. So now what we could say is create 3 random points located on each line. So the tool is Create Random Points Management. Our output will be random points on lines, and our constraining feature class is now square lines, and then the constraining extent will make square lines, and put 3 points on each line randomly. And then we'll look at this result in ArcMap. So we have 3 points randomly located on each line. So for example, our last line, line 100, here's point 1, point 2, point 3 that's randomly located on that line. So let me symbolize that as a bigger symbol. And likewise, if we go to our first polygon, here's point 1, point 2, point 3, and it's randomly located on those lines. And then if we look at the attribute table for our points, there's a field called CID. So these are the 3 points that are located on this first line. So this point here, and this point there. So point 1 on that first line, point 2 on that first line, and point 3 on that first line. And these points may look like they're on the first line, but they're actually considered to be on the second line. Okay, so if you go to the Blackboard website, I've got a quiz question for you, and that will lead you to the next video session, which is on creating something called random walks.